House of Representatives rejects VAT hike, maintains 7.5% in tax reform bill. Peter Obi's visit to Governor Bala Mohammed in Bauchi sparks alliance speculation. FCT residents decry impact of rising data costs. Putin agrees to Ukraine ceasefire, sets tough conditions. Hello there, good evening and welcome to the News Hour on Trust TV. My name is Abdullahi Ahmed. We start the bulletin in the National Assembly, where the House of Representatives has resolved to maintain the value-added tax rate at 7.5%, rejecting the proposed gradual increase to 15% by 2030. The House also rejected the reintroduction of inheritance tax, which was being presented under the guise of the taxation on family income. Here's the detailed report.
Following a week-long retreat, the ad hoc Committee on Tax Reform Bills presented its reports, making it the primary agenda for the day. Committee Chairman James Faleke moved for the consideration of the reports and summarized the committee's recommendations. Regarding distribution of VAT revenue, the House approved a formula where 50% would be equally distributed among states, 20% based on population, and 30% based on consumption. Emphasis was placed on distributing revenue according to the actual place of consumption rather than where VAT returns are filed. Additionally, the House proposed a tax exemption for the personal income of military personnel in Nigeria.
Distribution of VAT revenue. For VAT purposes, a new basis for the distribution of the 55% and 35% respectively for state and local government allocation has been introduced thus. 50% to be distributed equally, 20% to be distributed based on population.
The House also upheld the 7.5% VAT rate, rejecting any staggered increase. Lawmakers including James Faleke, Deputy Chairman Saidu Abdullahi, and Committee on Defense Chairman Jimmy Benson spoke in favor of the committee's recommendations.
The committee adopted the 7.5%. Recommendations for the reinstatement of contributions towards NASENI, NIDA, and a call to ensure continuous funding from the development levy. This, of course, was retained without sunset clauses.
Every voice, every constituency, every person is heard. You recall that initially we had issues with people talking about NIDA, NASENI, TET fund, inheritance tax issues, consumption, derivation. Everything was laid to rest. We moved, we shifted, we all agreed, there was consensus. You understand? So Mr. Speaker is right. Every shade of Nigeria was represented in that deliberation.
In addition, the House approved the appointment of one representative from each of the 36 states to the board of the Nigerian Revenue Service Establishment Bill.
36 members, one representing each state, and 6 geopolitical zonal caucus leaders, 2 regional leaders, and some few experts among us who are very versatile on tax, law, and finance matters to meet and look at the report you submitted. We ask questions, and it appears at the end of the meeting that every member, without exception, every member was satisfied with the job done.
Speaker Abbas Tajuddin recommended the committee's work, noting that there was unanimous support for the proposed reforms among House members. The House then conducted a clause-by-clause review of the recommendations in the 4 bills. As Nigerians await the passage of the bills and presidential assent, there is optimism that these reforms will positively impact the nation's economy and the lives of its citizens.
As political maneuvering intensifies ahead of the 2027 general elections, former Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi and the chairman of the PDP Governors Forum and governor of Bauchi State, Bala Mohammed, held a closed-door meeting in the Ramad House in Bauchi State. The high-level discussions, which lasted over 2 hours, saw both leaders addressing the media afterward, emphasizing their decision to engage despite party differences. Trust TV's Adamu Imam has more in this report.
The two political figures in the Nigerian polity describe the current Tinubu's administration as mediocre. They say time has come to do things together with fidelity, sincerity, and focus. Adding that their coming together is going to resonate, as all their party governors are behind the journey, which they describe as transcendental, because it seeks to address hunger and other challenges bedeviling the country at large.
About their country to consult, being the chair of PDP Governors Forum, being a critical person in Nigerian politics today, and what our country is going through, I felt it's necessary for me to come and discuss the future of our dear country with him. So it's just a consultation discussion meeting that will continue to go on as we talk about the future of this country.
While responding to questions from journalist Bala Mohammed, adding that Nigeria comes first before their political platforms, adding that they want to do away with interference of judiciary and others.
The timelines with vision in such a manner that we would rescue and recover our country from these mediocres that are parading themselves as leaders. Definitely, time has come when we must step out and we do things with fidelity, with sincerity and focus. And I think our coming together is a message. And the message is going to resonate, I believe, because all our colleagues, the governors, are behind this kind of journey because it's a transcendental one. And I want to say that we are very grateful for Governor B for being here, and we will take it up and take it further in a manner that going forward, you will see more of this outing between us.
The Labour Party chieftain also lamented the slow pace of development in Nigeria under APC government, citing Indonesia that leveraged on their competitive advantage to develop the country within a short time. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
Staying with political developments, the acting national chairman of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Umar Damagum, has declared that the zonal congress organized by some party members in the South cannot stand. The congress held in Cross River State was led by Dan Orbi and backed by the Federal Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, who insisted it was the only legitimate exercise for the zone. However, speaking at the inauguration of the South-South Zonal Caretaker Committee at the party's National Secretariat, Wadata Plaza in Abuja on Thursday, Damagum stated that the tenure of the outgone committee had expired and that a caretaker committee was necessary before any congress could be held.
Well, indeed, this is a very important occasion, and I think I want to use this opportunity to tell us that there was no any election as far as this party is concerned in South-South for zonal congress. I want to make this clear. Because the tenure of the zonal committee has expired, and we still have 2 weeks or a month or so to do the zonal congresses, we find it necessary to come up with this caretaker committee.
In other political news, retired Major Hamza Al-Mustafa, a former aide to former military head of state General Sani Abacha, has officially joined the Social Democratic Party SDP, marking a new chapter in his political journey. Accompanied by his team, Al-Mustafa arrived at the SDP headquarters in Abuja, where he was warmly welcomed by party leaders and supporters. He stated that his move to the SDP demonstrates his commitment to leadership grounded in justice, security, and national progress. His defection comes just days after former governor of Kaduna State, Malam Nasir El-Rufai, joined the party. El-Rufai has vowed to challenge the Bola Tinubu administration in the 2027 elections. Hamza Al-Mustafa, who served as Chief Security Officer to General Sani Abacha from 1993 to 1998, was one of the most influential figures in the military regime.
Actually, we had it. Okay. I had to shed off.
Now, the Social Democratic Party is fast emerging as Nigeria's most anticipated third force political platform, attracting heavy politicians seeking an alternative to the crisis-ridden major political parties in the country. While this surge in membership signals growing confidence in the party's stability, political analysts question whether the SDP can shield itself from infiltrators and self-serving politicians who may compromise its vision and integrity. Trust TV Shafiq Suleiman has more in this report.
With President Bola Tinubu's administration at its midpoint, the political landscape is witnessing strategic realignments, especially following the defection of former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai and his allies from the ruling APC to the SDP.
It's always interesting for the polity when you have viable opposition, because it's that opposition that keeps whoever is in office or in power in check to do the right thing. And the right thing is not always what you want to do, but what the people deserve.
We've seen it happen before. It's not a new thing. The APC itself upstaged PDP. Years back, it was said that PDP was going to rule Nigeria for 60-something years, and that it was impossible for APC to be upstaged. But there, lo and behold, in 2015, all that was put to test, and PDP was roundly defeated.
There has been some level of complacency on the side of the ruling party, which I don't think is healthy. There has been some level of comfortability. There has not even been much need for them to put in so much strategy and criticality into the things that they do. So perhaps now, with all of these developments, you're going to see more seriousness, even in terms of them managing their party and the issues there, because there are issues.
Though El-Rufai's move was anticipated due to the SDP's relative stability and internal cohesion, analysts remain divided on whether the party can effectively manage the influx of diverse political actors without losing its core values.
What the SDP should do is to separate the wheat from the chaff. There are some who will come with good intentions, who would want to really, strengthen the party and make the party a very workable opposition. There are some who are going to come in as Trojan horses, who are going to be a fifth columnist, who want to destroy the party. There are some who just want to float along.
Just like the APC, the PDP, the SDP, the ADC, the Labour and all of that, it is about a candidate that is popular, or an individual that is popular, embraces the party and gives it that national appeal, so to speak, when the time for election comes. So it's never really been about the political platform.
Always advocate for Nigerians is for them to get into the system, is for them to participate, because without you participating, without you interrogating the system and being interested in it, there will be little or nothing you can get apart from perhaps keying into government policies. If you're a farmer, you key into any agricultural policy or the rest of it.
The experts also assess how this growing political alliance could shape the quest for a credible alternative that strengthens Nigeria's democracy.
Even though we are talking about price of food slowly sort of declining, we're talking about the naira dollar value sort of appreciating around the naira, a lot of people still do not care. Because at the end of the day, it has to reflect on the streets. And if it's not reflecting in somebody's stomach, he doesn't want to understand whatever kind of economics you're trying to preach to him.
In the last meeting they have at the Executive Council meeting, they raised up the Reconciliation Committee. So perhaps all of this will even make it more serious for them to get those committees to move to placate all of the people that need to be placated.
Beyond party expansion, commentators emphasize the need for the SDP to build a formidable people-centered opposition, one driven by national interest rather than a coalition of power-hungry politicians willing to undermine Nigeria's unity and stability. Shafiu Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
In other news, former Rufai Commissioner Jafar Sani was on Thursday arrested in Kaduna by personnel of Operation Fuching Kada shortly after leaving his residence. According to sources, Jafar Sani was taken to a court in Daura Road before being remanded at the correctional facility. Sani's arrest comes shortly after his defection from the APC to the SDP. According to sources allied to Rufai, they are yet to know what he was being charged for. To the south, where the River State House of Assembly has requested the Department of State Services to investigate the state's Chief Judge, Samion Amadi, over alleged age falsification. The matter was raised during plenary on Thursday after the House leader, Major Jack, presented documents related to the allegation. Following this, the Deputy Speaker, Dumle Maul, formally accused the Chief Judge of age falsification. After deliberations, the House resolved to write to the DSS requesting an investigation and a report on their findings. Speaker Martin Zamehule emphasized the need for a thorough inquiry before the Assembly took further action. After a voice vote, the House formally agreed to petition the DSS to carry out the investigation. Staying in River State, Governor Siminalayi Fubara on Thursday appealed to members of the River State House of Assembly to consider the interests of the people of River State and embrace peace to resolve the political impasse in the oil-rich state. The governor said he needed peace to govern River State well and called on all dissatisfied political actors in the state to put all that had happened behind and commit to the full implementation of the February 28, 2025 draft of decisions handed over by the Supreme Court.
It's important at this stage that we all embrace peace. The Supreme Court has made its judgment. We don't have any option but to abide by it. And by the special grace of God, we have started the process. We are appealing to other parties. Consider the interests of River State. It's important. The only thing that we owe this state is peace and development. I am open any day, anytime for total peace in our state. Because if I have to govern and govern well, there is need for peace. Let me thank everyone for your support.
As Nigerians increasingly depend on the internet to compensate for infrastructure gaps, the recent surge in data costs has raised concerns, especially among mobile users who rely on affordable data for business and daily activities. With the rising cost of living, the hike in telecom tariffs means many Nigerians will have to prioritize essentials, making internet access a luxury rather than a necessity. Trust TV's Abdulmumin Aisha has more in this report.
Amidst economic challenges, residents of the Federal Capital Territory are grappling with the rising cost of data, forcing many, especially youths, to rethink their internet usage. Some FCT residents expressed frustration over how the hike has negatively impacted their businesses and social interactions, attributing the issue not only to the government but also to telecom providers.
What I do now, like I said, I don't recharge anymore. I use my office Wi-Fi to do whatever I want to do. Over the weekend, I can just wait till Monday. I don't know what NUC or whether the government agencies are doing, but they should be blamed. The government should be blamed because we don't know what's happening. Majority of people now don't recharge anymore. I'm telling you the truth. They just buy this normal dongle or this Wi-Fi stuff and then attach to their phone. Nobody's recharging for data anymore.
Sometimes I think I used to do whether it's 500 for 2.5 gig, knowing that I will use it for the whole day. But now, if I want to do, I can't do that 500 naira on again for 2 days. It lasts for 2 days, 2.5 gig. Now I'm doing 1,000 naira for I think 3.5 gig. Even for my POS, I realized that sometimes when I recharge, normally I do monthly for I think 1,000 naira for 1.2 gig. But now I realize that when I want to recharge, I think it's now 1.5. It's affecting me, honestly.
Like if I want to watch a movie in my house, I'll just subscribe. It's more. Once the movie finish, I'll off it. In my phone, the same thing. If I went online within a short period, I'll just off my data.
The tariff increase has led many customers to purchase smaller data plan, limiting their internet access and placing them in a difficult situation. While citizens lament the effect of high data costs, tech expert Awal Abdullahi provided insight on how to optimize data usage.
We need and we don't oversubscribe. Number two, we need to make sure that at least even the data that we're buying, we're using it most efficiently. So when you look at it, number one, there's also the issue of what we call bandwidth on demand. This is something that many Nigerians are not aware. I remember some times back, people are clamoring for DSTV to be a prepaid service. But when you look at it, as much as you are there, your voice on GSM is prepaid, but your data is not prepaid, because data, whether you use it or you don't use it, after that 1 month validity, it expires. So the question is that, can we push for all those operators to begin to do bandwidth on demand, which means is that as at when I need it, that is when I'm going to use it.
Also explained that foreign exchange fluctuations and the depreciation of the Nigerian naira are key factors driving the price hike. According to him, while the NCC has approved a data rollover policy, there are restrictions on the amount of data that can be rolled over and the time frame which it must be used.
And I know pretty well NCC have done great in trying to make sure they check the excesses of the telecom operators such that all this data lost cannot be so rampant, because I can tell you it's very simple. If telecom operators want to make dirty money, let me put it that way, it is very simple. There's a way they can tinker and then manipulate their billing system or billing software, and the rest is history.
While many argue they are now paying more for less data, underlying economic factors continue to shape the situation. Abdulmuminu Aisha, Trust TV News, Abuja.
In other news, as Ramadan enters its second week, artisans in the nation's capital, Abuja, are sharing their experiences on how the holy month has impacted their businesses. While some report a decline in patronage due to reduced activities and the scorching sun, others say business has been appreciating steadily during the month of Ramadan. Trust TV's Kabir Lawal has more on their thoughts.
Despite observing Ramadan, Muslims, especially artisans, still have to work during the period and balance their schedules with fasting. Despite the scorching sun, street hawkers, construction workers, vulcanizers and artisans without shops also participate in the fast. Salisu Suleiman, a vulcanizer, told Trust TV that despite the harsh weather, the fasting has become a must for him, adding that it is one of the months he makes more money, hence the need for him to fast and acknowledge the blessings that come with the month.
13, 15 tires in a day. I can put more than 5, 10 cars in a day. In a day, sometimes in a day I can make like 10,000, I can make like 5,000. Any day where I work no day, I can make like 4,000, 6,000. So it's not a steady something.
He further explained that the important role the month plays in forging a closer relationship with Allah despite the unfriendly weather.
So I'm a real Muslim. I'm a real Muslim. I'll never ever do that. No matter how the weather is, I'll manage the weather and do the fasting from morning till evening. So I'll never want to break my fasting. It's a hot weather like this.
I have to call to tell everybody that you should be always thankful and grateful to Almighty Allah. Yeah. No matter the situation and no matter how the weather is, so you have to say Alhamdulillah. That's all I have to say.
Another artisan, Sanusi Yunusa, who is physically challenged, sells his wares under the sun. He thanked Allah for making him witness another only month, adding that despite the Ramadan, the market is still booming, but at a slow pace.
Of course,
we make profit and also put food on the table for my family. During this period, I'm being in the Federal Capital Territory.
Important of this month is different from the other months because this is a holy month, and this is a month that if you are doing prayer or whatever, you do it more than as you are doing before.
The importance of the month makes it much easier for people to make ends meet and continue with their day-to-day activities while also receiving blessings from Allah. Kabir Lawal, Trust TV News, Abuja.
In the Nigerian Senate, the President of the Senate, Akpabio, has expressed gratitude to his colleagues for passing a vote of confidence on him amid the sexual harassment allegations leveled by Senator Natasha Akpabio. During Thursday's plenary, Akpabio, who was initially absent, returned to thank his fellow senators for their support after a previous confidence vote was passed last week following a motion by Senate leader Opemi Bamidele. He criticized Senator Akpabio's recent remarks at the Interparliamentary Union, a summit underway in New York, where she reaffirmed her allegations, claiming her statements were meant to mislead the international media and tarnish the image of the National Assembly. Akpabio also praised female lawmaker Kafilat Ogbara, who led Nigeria's delegation to the summit, for clarifying that Akpabio's message was stemming from her suspension for violating Senate rules.
Thank you for this vote of confidence. I will not take it for granted, and I also have confidence in you and your ability to continue to contribute your quota towards nation building. Let's remain focused on why we are here. These things are distractions and diversionary. May God Almighty bless all of you. May God, using this Ramadan and Lent period, endow you with more wisdom, protect you, protect your families, and then bring more prosperity to our nation. Through Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Can we say amen? I thank you. Hence, the Senate, so please, we still have full confidence in our female folk. In this 10th assembly of the Senate, we have only 4 women, and the 4 of them are all committee chairmen, intentionally, in order to give a voice to women in the parliament.
Well, in a related development, the President of the Nigerian Senate, Godswill Akpabio, faces a possible jail term for allegedly disobeying a court order as Senator Natasha Akpabio begins contempt proceeding against the Senate. In a notice of disobedience of court order signed by the court registrar pursuant to Section 72 of the Sheriff and Civil Process Act of 2004, the Federal High Court Abuja warned the defendants, Senate President Godswill Akpabio, Senator Neda Emeswem, the clerk of the National Assembly and the Nigerian Senate, of the consequences of defying a judgment issued by Justice O.A. Igwatu on March 4, 2025. The court declared that willful disobedience of its order renders Akpabio, Emeswem, and the clerk of the National Assembly liable for contempt, which could result in imprisonment unless they comply. Despite being served with the enrolled order on March 5, 2025, the defendants allegedly ignored the court's directive and continued to act in defiance of its authority, prompting legal action from Senator Akpabio. In a bid to support vulnerable communities, the Aliko Dangote Foundation has officially launched the 2025 National Food Intervention Program in Kano State. The initiative, aimed at alleviating food insecurity, comes at a crucial time as many families continue to struggle to make ends meet on a daily basis. Here's the report put together by Trust TV's Abdulaziz Ibrahim.
The launch event at the Kano State Government House marked the beginning of rice distribution to 1,200 beneficiaries, offering much-needed relief during the fasting and Lent season. Representing the president of the foundation, Hajia Maria Aliko Dangote, reaffirmed the organization's commitment to reaching the most vulnerable.
Unfortunately, many of our fellow Nigerians face daily struggles in meeting their basic food needs. This is why the Aliko Dangote Foundation has undertaken the 1 million bag of rice distribution initiative to ensure that people of Nigeria, particularly those who are most in need, receive the help they deserve. The foundation has always been dedicated to improving lives and supporting communities across Nigeria. And today, we take another step towards realizing this mission.
Dignitaries, including the Deputy Governor Abdusalam Gorzo, praised the intervention as a timely response to the country's food crisis.
It is a great honor to once again be part of this significant occasion, where for the second time during our administration, our son, brother and father, Alhaji Aliko Dangote, through his philanthropic vehicle, the Dangote or Aliko Dangote Foundation, the ADF, is extending his generosity to the less privileged in our dear home state, Kano. This novel initiative, which will extend to all states across the country, reflects his unwavering commitment to uplifting and helping the needy.
Also present was the Deputy Commander General of the Hisbah Board, Mujahid Aminuddin, who assured that proper distribution measures are in place with support from religious groups and security agencies. The distribution is planned to get to all nooks and crannies with the support of security agencies. We also have the support of Muslim and Christian religious groups to ensure that all those who receive the palliative will be happy. Beyond Kano, the Aliko Dangote Foundation plans to distribute 1 million bags of rice across all local government areas in Nigeria.
So as you can see, we have 774 LGAs in Nigeria, right? And we're giving away 1 million bags. So the idea is that everybody should be touched by this gesture. This year also happens to be that Ramadan and Lent are overlapping. So that's why we're, again, reaching everybody in Nigeria as much as we can. Alhaji Aliko wants us to support the needy. He understands the need in the country. He knows that people are suffering. And so this is a gesture just to show that we are with the people.
Grateful beneficiaries shared their appreciation, emphasizing how much the food aid means to them. Uneza Yunusa expressed gratitude to the Aliko Dangote Foundation and the Kano State government for the gesture.
We thank Alhaji Aliko Dangote Foundation and the Kano State government for this gesture.
Abdullahi Jibrin said that since the start of fasting, many have struggled, and this intervention brings much needed relief not only to Kano residents but also to people across the country. Our joy and happiness on this day is that since the beginning of the fasting, some of us have been in need. And today, this gesture comes not only to us, but to people all over the country. The 2025 National Food Intervention Program by Aliko Dangote Foundation stands as a beacon of hope, reaffirming the importance of solidarity and support for vulnerable communities.
To Lagos State now, where the police has solved the mystery surrounding the disappearance of a Lagos State University graduate following the arrest of a prime suspect who confessed to the crime and led officers to the burial site. Initially filed as a missing persons case at the Ojo Police Division on January 16, 2025, the investigation was escalated after new leads emerged. Lagos Police spokesperson CSP Benjamin Hundeyin confirmed that the suspect, now in custody, provided crucial information that enabled detectives to locate the victim's remains. He also noted that the efforts were underway to apprehend other individuals linked to the murder. The Lagos Police Command has reassured residents that justice will be served while extending condolences to the bereaved family.
I can say that on January 16th, 2025 was when this started, after a report was received at Ojo Division that this young man went missing. And after the new Commissioner of Police, CP Olorundare Jimoh, assumed office on February 18, 2025, he gave a marching order to the State Criminal Investigation Department to solve this case. And that saw the case being upgraded from the case of a missing person to the case of suspected murder. And that also saw us arresting the principal or one of the principal suspects, who not only confessed to the killing of the young man, but has also led us here today to the grave where he was buried.
Staying in Lagos, the Lagos Waste Management Authority has clarified the wage structure of street sweepers following a viral video that sparked outrage on social media. The video featured a Loma worker claiming that sweepers were underpaid and had not received the promised minimum wage of 85,000 naira. According to the worker, street sweepers were consistently paid 30,000 naira with a recent increase to 40,000 naira in February. Responding to the allegations, Loma, through a statement shared by Jibril Gabwat, a special assistant to Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, defended its wage policy and reaffirmed its commitment to workers' welfare. The statement explains that street sweeping services were managed by private companies contracted by Loma, and these firms are responsible for paying workers directly. It also noted that under the new minimum wage review, street sweepers now earn 40,000 naira monthly, while supervisors receive the sum of 50,000 naira based on a 4-hour daily shift. Staying in the southwest, authorities in Oyo State have expressed concern over the persistent disregard and violation of traffic rules, vowing to implement stricter enforcement measures. The chairman of the Oyo State Road Traffic Management Agency, Major Adesagba Adekoya, retired, made this known in Ibadan while inspecting the recently installed one-way road spike at Ideakpe Junction in the state. Now, during the inspection, Adekoya emphasized the state government's determination to improve road safety and ensure strict compliance with traffic regulations across major roads in Oyo State. The report.
It's a recurring decimal that has led to the untimely death of many innocent residents and motorists alike who have had their life cut short due to the reckless attitude of some road users who break traffic rules. Driving against traffic is commonplace across Ibadan metropolis, but at the installation of this road spike at Idiakwe intersection along Iwo Road intersection is a pilot innovative strategy designed to drastically reduce road damages, enforce strict adherence to traffic rules, while also safeguarding the lives of road users.
In 2024, 222 persons died as a result of accidents, according to our statistics. And as such, large number of these mortalities is a result of this one-way driving and traffic offenses, especially red light, breaking red light. So we are advising our people that this mayor is a deterrent to ensure that people people from flying one way. It is for their safety.
The Idiakwe Junction is notorious for traffic offenses resulting in reckless loss of lives. Road users lauded the initiative and its impact at safeguarding lives.
Find it very nice for the road because the road is always busy and people cannot cross along the road. And what they have put there have reduced the speed of the vehicles around. The accident have reduced because people are not in the full speed as they used to be.
The motorists who face the oncoming traffic, I used to call them hire killers. They are hire killers because they are ready to face you, and you are going on your own way and they face you, and a lot of accidents are recorded daily. It's not only this stretch of the road, but it's all over. But this one will curb them, because as you attempt to face oncoming traffic, the speed breaker will burst your tire and that will stop you.
Commissioner for Public Works, Infrastructure and Transportation also speak on other benefits of the newly installed road infrastructure.
Apart from accidents, the road furniture also could be damaged when you are trying to navigate. So for us, we are improving on transportation system. We are safeguarding the road users. Also, we are targeting zero accident on our roads.
Authorities here say initiatives like these will be spread across strategic routes across the state. It, however, remains to be seen whether motorists would adhere strictly to the new development, which is expected to keep roads in the state safer.
A high-speed auto crash involving a commercial bus belonging to Flight Transport Company has claimed multiple lives along the Abuja-Makurdi highway. The accident, which occurred on Thursday, left several people dead and many others injured. Video cited by Trust TV showed lifeless bodies of passengers sprawled across the road as distraught bystanders wailed. A witness in the video lamented the driver's reckless speed before the tragic incident. The crash has triggered outrage among road users and concerned citizens, with many taking to social media to condemn the persistent recklessness of some commercial drivers.
When this driver overtook us, I was complaining about his speed. I was complaining. This flight bus, I was complaining. Just look at it. Look at it. Just before Goody. Just imagine. Look at it. I was complaining at the speed of this very driver. I was complaining. I was complaining. I was complaining. I was complaining. The way he overtook us.
Very tragic scenes there. The Ministry of Livestock and Aquaculture Development has launched a major vaccination drive to immunize 3.5 million animals against transboundary animal diseases across Adamawa's 21 local government areas. Beyond disease prevention, the initiative aims to reduce farmer-herder conflicts, fostering a more peaceful and productive environment. Trust TV's Gibson Swadigo has more in this report.
Transboundary animal diseases pose a serious threat to livestock health and the livelihoods of herders and farmers. These highly contagious diseases spread rapidly, causing economic losses and food insecurity. To combat this, the Ministry of Livestock, in line with the World Organization for Animal Health, has launched this massive vaccination campaign to eradicate these diseases and boost the state's livestock economy.
It is a clear fact that we all depend on livestock products, meat, milk, egg, and fish for the daily nutrient development of our bodies. Therefore, this administration is always ready to invest in the livestock subsector so as to enable to increase the GDP of the state from the current 40% to a greater percentage.
The trend Nigerian economy is going on now calls for each region to identify its potential and exploit it. For that reason, and looking at in Adamawa State, livestock forms the bedrock of our state GDP, where it contributes to over 40% of the state GDP.
Key stakeholders have welcomed the initiative, emphasizing its economic benefits and the crucial role of disease-free livestock in improving productivity and stability in the agricultural sector. This vaccination will reduce the rate of death and diseases in our animals. Some diseases in the animals also affect humans, so this vaccination will no doubt be beneficial to both humans and animals. For many years, we the Fulanis have not received this level of attention from previous governments. But this present government has given us and our animals a sense of belonging through the supply of qualitative drugs that are not available in the open markets. Building on past successes where over 5 million animals were vaccinated in 3 years, this campaign reinforces the ministry's commitment to livestock health and sustainable agriculture. Gibson Suadugo, Trust TV News, Yola.
Well, in business, Nigeria expended $817 million, approximately 1.2 trillion naira on debt servicing in the first 2 months of this year, representing a 3.12% decline from the $843.7 million spent in the same period last year. Data from the Central Bank of Nigeria International Payment Reports reveals that the government spent $540.7 million in January and $276.7 million in February on debt repayments. A further breakdown shows that in 2024, the country spent a total of $3.8 billion on debt servicing. This comes amid the federal government's largest national budget in 65 years, with a record-breaking 54.9 trillion naira proposed for 2025, a 56.89% increase from the 35.05 trillion naira budgeted in 2024. Notably, 16.3 trillion naira has been allocated for debt servicing in 2025, marking a 95% increase from the 8.25 trillion naira budgeted for the same purpose in 2024. Operatives of the Nigeria Customs Service have intercepted $1.1 million in undeclared foreign currency at the Malam Aminu International Airport. The NCS spokesperson Abdullahi Maiwada disclosed this in a statement on Thursday, revealing that the seizure was made during a routine baggage check on inbound passenger Hawa Ibrahim Abdullahi, who arrived on Saudi airline flight SV401 from Saudi Arabia. During a physical inspection of the passenger's luggage, custom officers discovered the undeclared foreign currency concealed within packs of palm date fruits, popularly known as dabino. Bewada emphasized that the interception reaffirms the NCS's commitment to enforcing financial regulations and preventing illicit financial flows across Nigeria's borders. On the foreign scene, Russian President Vladimir Putin on Thursday says he has agreed in principle with the U.S. proposal for a 30-day ceasefire in Ukraine, but the terms need to be worked out to pave way for lasting peace, while noting that there is a need to develop a mechanism to control possible breaches of the truce. Another issue the president raised is whether Ukraine could use the 30-day ceasefire to continue mobilization and rearmament. Putin noted that while it appears that the U.S. persuaded Ukraine to accept a ceasefire deal, Ukraine is interested in that because of the battlefield situation, noting that Ukrainian troops that launched an incursion into Russia's Kursk region would be fully blocked in the coming days. He also thanked the leaders of China, India, Brazil, and South Africa for their, quote, noble mission to end the fighting to casualties, a statement that signaled those countries' potential involvement in a ceasefire deal. The Southern African Regional Bloc has said it will conclude its troop deployment in the Democratic Republic of Congo, having decided on a, quote, phased withdrawal. Leaders from the 16-nation Southern African Development Community, which has lost at least a dozen soldiers in the East DRC since January, held a virtual summit on Thursday to discuss the ongoing conflict in an area that has seen 3 decades of unrest. The meeting, comes a day after Angola announced that peace talks between DRC and the Rwandan-backed M23 rebel group would begin next week. In a communique released after the summit, the group says DC's mission in the DRC would be terminated and directed the commencement of a phased withdrawal of some DRC troops.
This extraordinary summit has made the bold decision to withdraw our mission from the Eastern DRC. We must speed up the implementation of the decisions made during the joint SADC-EAC meeting. These include the merger of the Rwanda and Nairobi peace processes. More so, that dialogue is a key cog to usher lasting peace to the people of DRC. As our mission enters the withdrawal phase, we appeal for continued support to facilitate the safe withdrawal of all our troops and evacuation of our equipment.
Time now for some sports update with Adeni Ajishafe.
Nigeria under-20 men handball team defeated Moldova 25-22 on Thursday to seal a semi-final place at the 5th IHF Emerging Nations Championship in Varna, Bulgaria. A man-of-the-match performance by Farouk Yusuf motivated the team to glory. The team led by Coach Solomon Yola needed to win with Azerbaijan out of contention and Moldova to compete with. The European team had the upper hand in the early part of the first half as Ion Sahanier delivered a good match between the poles, while Farouk Yusuf swiftly delivered a fantastic performance, scoring 6 goals and adding 4 assists in the first half, contributing directly to 10 of the 14 goals the Nigerians scored to Moldova's 12 despite a 48% shooting efficiency. Nigeria had a good second half despite Moldova keeping close, with the gap not exceeding 3 goals and still stuck at 2 goals, 19-17, with 17 minutes to go. Yusuf added precious moments in attack in the first minutes of the second half. The decisive blow came when Nigeria's top scorer in the competition, Farouk Yusuf, with 19 goals, 8 of which came against Moldova, went on a good run as goalkeeper Obina Okwo saved 3 shots in a row. Nigeria emerged winners 25-22 to be in the semi-final for the first time for an African side. The Republic of Moldova lost 2 of 3 games in the group, are heading to the placement matches. Nigeria under-23 men and ball team beat Azerbaijan 29-17 on day 2 and draw against USA 31-31 on day 1 of the 5th IHF Emerging Nations Championship in Bulgaria. That's Sport News. I'm Adeni Ajishafe.
And that is it. You're up to date with the latest news stories. Many thanks for joining us. Do well to stay in touch with us by following us across our social media platforms. Also, visit our website, trusttv.com, for the latest news, programs, and documentaries. My name is Abdullahi Ahmed. For myself and the rest of the team, thank you for watching the News Hour, and good night.